So today we're going to look at what happens when your equation is not already solved for a variable. Because you're going to have to use some of those skills of solving for a variable to get it in the correct form to then be able to solve by substitution. So let's take a look at an example. So we have these two equations. 2x plus 2y is equal to -12. And 7x plus y is equal to 12. Now, honestly, in a couple of days after we go over how to solve by elimination, you're not going to want to use substitution on a problem like this because there's a better method. But for now, let's make sure our skills are sharp and make sure we know how to do this. I would pick a variable that is easy to solve for, and I would solve for that variable. For instance, I wouldn't choose this one because I will have to subtract 2y, and then I'll have to divide both sides by 2. So that's 2 extra steps that might not be necessary. But if I chose this one right here, the y, all I would have to do to solve for y is subtract 7x from both sides. One step. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to subtract 7x from both sides. And I get y is equal to -7x plus 12. Okay? Now it is in a form that you can use to substitute. All right? I should warn you too that there will be some when you're doing IXL today that are not so straightforward. So I will make sure to do one like that next so you can see. Now that I have found out what my y is equal to, I'm going to take this whole thing, this is what y is, and I'm going to plug it in for y here. Yep, got lots of caps here. Okay. So now I'm going to rewrite the first equation, but instead of putting y, I'm going to put what y is equivalent to from down here. All right, so we can distribute, combine like terms, and solve for the variable. We can combine here. And then we're solving for x, so I'm going to subtract 24 from both sides. I know you guys are pros at this already. Divide both sides by -12. And we get that x is equal to 3. That's our first important piece of information. And now we need to figure out what y will be. So we can either plug x into the first equation or the second equation. You're going to want to choose an original, not this thing that you've manipulated, okay? So I'll choose that second equation to plug x into because it looks like it'll be the easiest. So this equation right here, and I'm going to plug x in, so 3. So it looks like y is going to be -9. Okay. So your solution then is the ordered pair 3, -9. Now, because I want to be super thorough, I am going to check my answer. It doesn't take that long to do, and it's nice to be sure that I've done it correctly. I'm going to plug in the x and y into the first equation because we haven't used that one yet. Well, we used it, but not for finding our y value. Yep, we're good. It works. Okay, so there will be questions that you come across that are not solved for either an x or a y. You'll just need to convert one of those equations to be for x or y. So let me do one more example for you so that you have seen one that is not quite as pretty and are familiar with it. I didn't do a second example in period 1, and I wish I had, because I could tell that they needed it. So that's why I want to make sure to do a second example with you. Bless you. Bless you. All right. Like I said earlier, when I show you the next method handles these kinds of problems very well. But for now, we don't have that method yet, so we're going to just roll with it. Okay, none of the variables here are going to be simple to solve for. You're probably going to end up with some fractions, and you have to roll with it, okay? So I'm just going to pick one. It doesn't matter which one I pick. I'm going to choose x right here to solve for. This will work no matter which variable you choose to solve for. Some of them will just be cleaner than others, and sometimes it won't matter at all. Okay. Then I'll divide both sides by 2. And you get x is equal to -3/2 y plus 5. Like I said, you're going to sometimes have those fractions and just leave them for right now. Now that I have a variable solved for, I'm going to take this whole thing and plug it in for x here. So this is what x is equal to. You're going to take it and plug it in for x right here. So this will be -5 times the whole thing, -3/2 y plus 5 plus 2y is equal to 32. So I'm going to distribute. This will be positive 15/2 y. And then this is going to be -25. I need to combine like terms here, but I have a fraction. So this is the same as 4/2. So that'll be 19/2 y minus 25 is equal to 32. So we'll add 25 to both sides. And we'll have 19/2 y is equal to 57. Now, this could be something that throws you off. I don't want it to be though, okay? The first thing and actually you could have right here, you could have multiplied both sides by 2 and eliminated the fraction. But I didn't do that, I just rolled with it. But here, I would just multiply by 2. This will cancel out, and you get 19y is equal to 114. Then divide both sides by 19, and I believe that's 6. Can anyone confirm? I think it's 6, right? Yeah, 6. Okay, then choose one of the equations to plug 6 into to solve for your x. Okay, if I choose 6 here, this is 18, which would mean that this would be -8, which means x would have to be -4. Do you want me to continue on, or do you feel like you know where to go from here? Yeah. Dirty looks. All right. So I wanted to prepare you for a worst case scenario. You will not have a bunch of questions like this, but you will encounter probably a few. So I just wanted you to be prepared that sometimes it'll get a little messy with fractions, and it's okay. Just roll with it. Eliminate your fractions if you can, and then solve. How about this? If you're done listening to me, you don't have to listen to me anymore. If you want to see me finish this problem out, I'll do it. Okay? So if you want to start your homework, you're good. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to plug it into either one of those equations and solve for x. I'm going to choose that first one, or sorry, the second one. Okay, so I have x is equal to -4. Now if I plugged that back into the first problem to check, -4 times the -5 is 20, and 2 times 6 is 12, so 20 plus 12 is 32. I know I've done it correctly. So you guys have like a good 25 minutes just to work on your homework. So please, if you get stuck, let me know and I'm happy to help you.